Hey everyone, and welcome along to Game 2 from Storm Over Stirling. This time I'm up against another Legions of Chaos list with another Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage. However, this time it's not monocorn. He does have a level 4 Death Mage. And this game is quite different to the last one. It's meeting engagement this time. There are still bonus points for breaking your opponent and for each table quarter you hold. We are going into deployment, and I deployed my entire army first, and I deployed down in the left corner, quite far away, expecting him to maybe set up closer and come at me, and he elected not to. He elected to set up way behind here. He puts his warriors in that building now. His skull crushers, then his bloodthirster behind that. He has a chariot, not a chariot, a wash rain of Zinch, which you can see behind the building there. And at the other side, he has a skull cannon, two chariots, and he starts with a skull cannon off the board. Which is quite important because I managed to forget that he has a skull cannon off the board when I take my first turn, but never mind. Just a quick picture here with a warrior in front of that, just to say that they are in the building. And yes, there's the skull cannon that's sitting off the board. Sorry for the blurry picture, but this is my right flank. I have my Phoenix, then I have my Doomfire Warlocks, Great Eagle, my Hellbron Cauldron Witch Elf bus, Horde. My Glade Guard are in that are just on top of that building there, which we were just using as a hill. The scouts on the left hand side corner there are actually deployed after this. I'll show you that in just a second. And at the top there I have a unit of 2, 4, 7 Wild Riders, of course, since there was only 7 on my list. And I win the role to go first, and I start moving up. So my Wild Riders move up on the left flank, making it a very long charge for the chariots to get into them, but I can get into the front of them next turn. I'm not too far away. Everything else just comes a bit closer. Wasn't expecting him to set up so far back, so I wanted to get into range with my shooting, and I wanted to be able to countercharge anything that came across with the Witch Elves and the Cauldron. On this side, the Great Eagle flies over behind, keeping up behind the Warlocks, which come up hoping to maybe fire off a Doombolt into the building, or the at the Bloodthirster, just hoping to get something through. The Phoenix flies up and around, and my scouts are sitting just in the corner there, as you can see, behind the woods and out of the charge arc of the Skull Crushers. So on my turn, I get up Throne of Vines, which he elects to let through. I get off a couple of shots and do a wound to a Skull Crusher. And that's about it for my turn. So my opponent's turn 1, he brings his skull cannon on that I forgot about and fires straight down the length of my Wild Riders. He manages to kill 4 of them. He hit the first one. I rolled a 6 up ward save, thinking yes, it won't go through, but that's only with monstrous stuff, of course. So yeah, he then kills off another 3. Another 3, which is quite lucky in my opinion. So that wasn't too bad. He then elects to not move anything at all except from his chariots back the way, and everything else stays where it is. And it's at this point I realise he's not going to come at me at all. He's going to try and shoot off as much as he can, and I can either sit back and lose this game small, or I can head across the table to him, and it'll make it a much more interesting battle report. I choose option B, and start running across the table. My Wild Riders get forward, they're within charge range of the chariots, but still making it difficult for them. And yes, I have completely forgotten that the Skull Cannon is a chariot as well. So I could be flank charged by that next turn. And spoiler alert, yes, that's exactly what happens. Stupidity, I don't know why, I just thinking cannon, run past it, ignore it, and I'll go into something else. But no, of course, Skull Cannons are chariots. Well, won't be the first time I've made a mistake, and it won't be the last. Everything else, my Glade Guard go across, hoping to get some shots off, and my Witch Elves come around just behind them. The Doomfire Warlocks come up, they're hoping to go after the chariots and the Skull Cannon at the other side as well, with my Great Eagle just coming up, hoping to harass some things. I also managed to move up my Way Watchers again, and I do another couple of wounds to the Skull Crushers, I think, on... yeah, there we go. I do 3 wounds, killing off one of them and leaving the extra wound on another. I flew up my Frostheart Phoenix, as you can see there. He is basically just getting ready to take out anything he can. I believe I cast a Soul Blight at this point, and I did it irresistibly, and I managed to lose 2 of my Warlocks to the miscast, which was alright, I suppose. In fact, it wasn't. This was into his turn, and it was a cannonball that went through them and managed to kill them. With the rest of his shooting, he gets the couple of Witch Elves. His magic, I think it was... ah, sorry, this is not... This is Reign of Chaos, which does this. He gets 2 Warlocks, 2 Witches, and 6 Glade Guard. That's what it was in his magic phase. It was the Reign of Chaos that done the damage there. He then goes into his shooting phase. Cannonball goes through and kills my poor Frostheart Phoenix. So he's not having a good tournament so far. 2 cannonballs, 2 deaths. And he's moved the rest of his army up just like this. And as you can see, this is the charge that I had forgot about. He got in, he obliterated the Wild Riders with just the impact hits. I think he rolled 6 impact hits, so there was nothing left of those. And this is how it looks at the top of turn 3. I'm at this point a little worried because I've lost my Wild Riders, so I've got nothing on that sort of top board edge or left flank. So I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do up there. My Warlocks in the middle have the choice. What I decide to do with them is charge at the other Skull Cannon. I charge my Eagle into this Skull Cannon just to try and hold it up. Hopefully maybe I can get through in combat res or something, but we'll see how that goes. My Warlocks make this charge, which is brilliant. I'm hoping to pop this and overrun into the chariot. When we get to combat, I do horrifically with my poor Eagle. It takes 2 wounds and does nothing in return. However, my Warlocks do manage to kill off a Skull Cannon and overrun into the flank of the other chariot. So at least that's going for me. Sorry about another blurry picture, but this is going in, and just it shows the end of the turn, my turn 3. You can see I've chaffed up the 2 remaining Skull Crushers, which I managed to shoot some out of the last turn. And they charge straight into the Eagle. Nothing much else happens in his turn, but his Skull Cannon does manage to finish off the Eagle it was in with the last time, and the Skull Crushers make short work of that Eagle and overrun down here. And the Bloodthirster just hides up behind the building. So Greg's playing very well at this point. I've not got any points from him really. I've got a chariot and a Skull Cannon. I've managed to do 50% of the wounds to the Skull Crushers, and he's still got a lot of stuff in the building, his BSB, his Sorcerer, and a load of Warriors. So I'm still a bit of a loss. Coming across the board to him hasn't seemed to have worked out so far, but we'll see how that goes. So I about face my Glade Guard to face his Skull Cannon and hopefully take that off. My Witch Elves march across the board. They're hoping to get into anything that'll allow them to fight and get some wounds through. I get off Flesh to Stone on my Warlocks here, hoping that they can stand out and kill off that chariot. However, that doesn't work so well, and I managed to lose 2 of them. And the chariot about faces. We go into his turn. He charges my Glade Guard, who had a chance to shoot at it last turn, shot at it this turn, and I manage a total of like 1 wound. So that's not working so well. And the Bloodthirster, as you can see, has just come across and is preparing to charge whatever it can. And this is another bloody picture, sorry about these. But his Chaos War Shrine just comes down and threatens my Way Watchers. Up here, there's a bit of a fluff fight. The one remaining Warlock's not able to do anything to the chariot, and the chariot eventually kills him, and he just reforms. The other chariot managed to do 6 impact hits again. Killed off a load of Glade Guard. He broke their steadfast, he broke them, they ran, they jumped through the witches, and the chariot slams into the witch elves itself. So holding them up now, and that's just a picture of my 2 Glade Guard and Sorceress staying where they are, and as you can see it's a precarious position with those Skull Crushers there. Into the combat phase, I move Hellbrawn up to the Skull Cannon, thinking 8 attacks at strength 10, I'll be able to kill it. However, with lots of ward saves, I only managed to put 2 wounds through, so it's sitting on 1 wound left, and it kills Hellbrawn in return. So for MVP this game, it's definitely this Skull Cannon. He's got my some Glade. He's got my Wild Riders, most of my Glade Guard unit, and he's just killed Hellbrawn as well. So it's not looking very good for me. And I'm steadfast. I make my leadership test to turn as well, and I basically make this unit face across here because the Bloodthirster's going to come in now that Hellbrawn's not there. So in his turn, he brings his warriors out of the building, and everything just goes careening into my poor witch elves. So there's the Skull Cannon that was already in there, a chariot goes in, the Skull Crusher's in the rear, and the Bloodthirster goes in. It's not looking good. I can't remember what spell this is he got off, but it does something. And after all is said and done, he manages to wipe out a load of witch elves. I don't do much in return. I do a couple of wounds onto the Bloodthirster. But I stick around. In my turn, I don't have much else to do. I try a couple of shots at the War Shrine with the Way Watchers. And that's that. We go straight into the combat, and my Glade Guard unit with my Sorceress still haven't rallied, so they're still running down to the bottom of the board. And into combat, things go a little better. I lose my Cauldron, but I do manage to kill the Bloodthirster. I do nothing else to anything else. I lose my BSB, and I fail my leadership test, and I get run down. So that's the end of that unit. Basically, I think I missed a picture here. My Way Watchers were charged by the Shrine. It was they done 6 impact hits again and basically just killed it. You rolled 6 for every impact hits that you had, I think. And this is the end of the game. All I have left is 2 Glade Guard and my Sorceress. So I went from having a very good game to having a very bad game, which I suppose is all fairness evens itself out. Things where I get knocked down. I was on table 10 or 12 after this game. I think I was on table 3 for this one. But 1 loss, 1 win. If I can win my next game, I'm going to go up a few tables and I'll start day 2 positively. So I'm alright with that. Sorry about this battle report. I know I missed some pictures and it wasn't going well for me, so I managed to confuse a few things. But next one will be better. Next one's against Ogres, against Stuart West, who I had chatted to and met him at a previous tournament, and that's a very good game. And we'll see you on that one. Thanks for listening.